The chopper's still running, and don't you forget it. I hate to have to use it, but the phone keep heavy. Boys talking shit like they never heard of murder. Boys talking shit like they never heard of murder. The chopper's still ready, and don't you forget it.
So, though, if I had to choose between taxi, Uber, and Lyft, I'm going with taxi because at least they have a boss. With Uber and Lyft, it's free game.
What you're about to hear was the worst night of my life.
Right.
I went out to a downtown club with my boyfriend and his friends on a Saturday night.
Okay.
My boyfriend and I hadn't been getting along for a while, and at some point in the club, we had an argument. I didn't want to be there anymore, so I went outside and called an Uber to pick me up. It was raining that night, so I waited under the awning of a building nearby to the club. A white car pulled up in front of me and stopped. I walked over, and the woman driving rolled down the window. She said, "Uber?" And I said, "Yeah," and then her name. She said, "Yes." So I got in the back seat. I asked, "How are you?" And I'm pretty sure she didn't answer. When I didn't hear a response to my question, I shot a glance up from my phone for a second. The woman had both hands firmly planted on the steering wheel. She was driving in a very stiff, upright position.
Right.
She also had very curly hair and a somewhat darker skin complexion. She was driving down the street I usually took to get home, only she was going the opposite way.
Fuck you mean?
I didn't want to speak up and correct her just yet.
Nah, hell, just yet. Just yet? You don't want to say nothing just yet? You don't know this bitch. She don't know you. Fuck. You don't want to say nothing just yet. Bitch, you better say something. You better speak the fuck up. Talking about you're not going to say nothing just yet. Just yet? Just yet. You're not going to say nothing. The slightest hint. The smallest thing. Tiniest thing. Of my Uber driver taking like a different direction. Bitch, if you in a different lane, I'm saying something. I'm cutting you the fuck off. I'm speaking the fuck up. Put in bass in my voice. Right? I don't know why. Put in bass in my voice talking about someone. Hey! Get over in the other lane, please. I always take this lane. The fuck you doing on this lane, huh? Fuck. You got me fucked. You're not gonna say nothing just yet. So, I mean, how long you gonna wait? You know? Just yet. Just yet? I mean, how far you gonna take it? Just yet. Just yet. You fucking...
She was taking a different route. The further we went away from my house, though, the more concerned and frustrated I got.
Oh, yeah?
Finally, I spoke up and told her she was going the wrong way.
Right.
She said in a horrible, thick accent, something about how she was going to the highway instead. I knew for a fact the highway wasn't the quicker route, though. Then, my phone vibrated, and I looked down to see the notification from Uber. It said on my screen, "Meet Uber driver now."
Oh, okay. Hey, I don't know why I was fixing my, what is this? What is it? A quilt, right? Like, I just got nervous as a motherfucker, right? So, I don't know why I instantaneously fixed my quilt. It was nothing wrong with the quilt, but I like when I was watching. See, because I'm nervous right now. I'm stuttering over my fucking words, right? So when I was watching, I backed the fuck up. I got nervous as a motherfucker, and then I came over here fixing my quilt. I don't know why I was fixing. It was nothing wrong with this shit. I don't know why I do that. You know, like if I'm nervous or like something just happens out of nowhere, right? I tend to like fix shit that necessarily doesn't need to be fixed or it should be fixed. or you something like that. It's like, I don't know if y'all do that. Like if you're nervous or whatever, and you know, or something happens to you, all of a sudden you just start fixing yourself, like shit, like, or you start fixing other shit. You better unlock that door and haul ass out. Just saying. Just saying. And I felt like that was kind of extreme, though. You feel me? Like, she was mad at her at her boyfriend, so she decided to take an Uber. Like, fuck. I'm pretty sure y'all could have just drove back home in the same car. You know? Excuse me, I burped. It's fine that y'all don't talk to y'all don't talk on the way home. It's not cool. It's cool. Just make sure y'all in the same car together. Okay? Not opposite because of shit like this.
I opened up the app, and it said my Uber had just arrived at the point I was originally standing at.
Whoa, damn.
The car I was supposed to get in was a black Nissan. At this point, I started saying in a louder voice to the driver that she wasn't my Uber. I asked her to pull over and let me out. And when she didn't seem to acknowledge me, I started to actually yell and push at her seat. Even though the car was moving, I even tried opening the door, but the child lock was apparently on.
Bust.
After a little more yelling, she finally looked at me through the mirror, then pulled off to the side.
Bust the window open.
The door clicked unlocked, and I got out of the car and walked away from it. My actual Uber driver was calling me, and I picked up, apologizing, asking him to come to my current location.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna just walk home because I don't feel like nothing against you, real Uber driver, but considering what the fuck just happened to me, yeah, I don't feel comfortable taking Uber driver right now. So I mean, I don't really know how payment works, but I'm gonna go ahead and send you your junk. I'm gonna walk the fuck home. Who the fuck legs are those? See?
He said he'd be right over. 5 minutes later, the car pulled up. When I got in the car, I explained everything to him. He stopped the car, looked at me, and told me I just escaped a sex trafficking trap.
Oh, damn!
There had been reports of multiple fake Ubers going around trying to trick unsuspecting victims into getting into the car to lure them to unknown locations.
Jesus.
It was apparently part of a sex trafficking ring, and the drivers were usually female to appear less intimidating to the female victims.
Wow.
I just want to stress to everyone to make sure the car you're getting into is actually your Uber.
That's fucking crazy. I bet you story number one was like in Georgia, because you know Georgia's like the top state for
One night when I was decently drunk after leaving a bar, I started messaging people on Tinder.
Right. Oh my
God. Some girl
God.
named Alicia had messaged me, so I messaged her back. She answered almost immediately, asking what I was doing that night. I said I was just leaving a bar looking for someone to hang out with. She wrote back, "You should come over and smoke." I said, "Yeah, send me your address." She sent back her address promptly. It seemed like the quickest, easiest, most ideal Tinder match a guy could ask for on a Saturday night.
Don't you fucking think there's a problem with that shit? You know? Like, everything that happened within fucking 5 seconds. Shit. You don't think nothing wrong with that at all? Like, at all. Nothing. The fuck? I don't care if you drunk or not. Like, fuck. You must have not had the Adidas beer because you know, if you drink Adidas beer, you can still be drunk, but at the same time be cautious and aware as if you're not fucking drunk, but you are drunk. But you're still aware and cautious about your surroundings and cautious about what the fuck you doing. Because what you just did was off some bullshit, right? So you don't see nothing wrong. What the fuck just happened within 5 seconds? You don't see nothing wrong with that at all. And you're on Tinder. Like, that's at least 13,000 red flags. On top of, because that's just on Tinder alone, right? On top of the other shit, red flags that you was doing. Just saying. So you looking about 46,000 red flags, give or take. You know, but you go ahead and do you. You know, I really hope at the end of this story that you at least, first of all, I hope she a woman, right? Second of all, at the end of this story, I hope you get some I hope you go inside. That's all I'm saying. I hope you get some. Because if you don't, the fuck you.
I called for an Uber to drop me off at that address. The driver pulled up in his Honda, and I got in the front seat. Usually I would get in the back seat, but I was decently drunk and feeling extra social.
Wait a minute, motherfucker. So I've taken Uber before, right? In my past, not recently, but I've taken Uber. I gotta say, I'm not that big of a fan of an Uber. You know, you're getting in a car with a stranger. It's just like hitchhiking, right? But I've taken Uber before, but before I got into that motherfucking car, I dead ass would confirm everything that says on my screen to the person that's in that car before I get into that car. Because if one thing don't add up, I'm not taking that. I'm not taking the car. I'm not. I need photo. I need ID from you before I get into your shit. You know? Because if on my phone, my Uber driver says Curtis Jackson, I guess. I literally just made that up. But it sounds like a black person's name. But if on my phone it says my Uber driver is Curtis Jackson, which is a black person name, and I look up and I see the person in the driver's seat and I see your photo ID to match what's on my phone, and your bitch, the shit says fucking, I don't know, Noah, the whitest person, that's the whitest name. Bruh, if my shit says Curtis and your shit says Noah, first of all, you're white. Oh, what white person you know named Curtis? No one. And if they are named Curtis, they not fully fucking white. But you gotta check shit before you just go into somebody else's car. Like, come on.
The driver seemed cool. I was honest with him about where I was going, telling him I was about to meet a girl from Tinder. He laughed and said nice. He started going on about his stories meeting girls as an Uber driver and such. On the way there, I asked Alicia for her number, and she gave it to me. I started texting her, and she gave normal answers. When we got to the house, the driver said the house seemed familiar to him.
Fuck?
Had to admit it did look a little sketchy since there were no cars in the driveway and the lights were off.
Oh no.
He told me to be careful. I thanked him and said goodbye, and he drove away down the block and stopped near the end, I'm guessing setting up his next ride. I walked up to the house and tried to ring the bell.
No, hell no. Nope. bitch, Uber driver, you gonna stay right the fuck here, okay? I'm gonna go up, knock on the door, ring the doorbell. If nobody come to the door within 5 seconds, which is plenty of fucking time, right, to get to the door, right? 5 seconds is all you need, right? If nobody answers, comes to the door within 5 seconds, bitch, I'm going back into your car, right? If I open a door, or somebody else opens the door, right, and a big ass man opens the door, I'm going back in your car, you know. If I'm at the door, ring the doorbell, knock a couple times, and the door just opens by itself, bitch.
But I didn't hear a bell from the inside.
See?
So I knocked on the door. Then I tried calling Alicia. It went to voicemail after one ring, but she texted me right after saying it's open, come inside.
What the fuck?
Then there was a knock at the window, which almost gave me a heart attack. I looked at the window, and even though there were no lights on inside, I saw the blind was slightly lifted. Someone was waving their hand on the other side of the window.
What?
Before I tried the door, a number not saved on my phone started calling me. I assumed it was Alicia, so I picked up.
Oh my God.
But instead of hearing the voice of a girl, I heard the familiar voice of my Uber driver. He ordered me in a very concerned voice to walk away from the house right now.
Oh,
I then saw the Uber driver's car pull back up in front of the house.
Do it.
He told me to get back in the car.
Do it.
I hung up the phone and listened to him. As soon as I got in the car, he drove away from the house and told me that the house was vacant. In just the previous month, someone had been lured into that house, robbed, and murdered. It was a story that likely could have been similar to my own had I stepped into that house.
Jesus.
It was a lot for me to take in, but I thanked that Uber driver the best I could, and even took his number because he was so cool and I couldn't appreciate him enough. The next morning when I was sober, this was even more disturbing to think about.
I mean, like, you know, that's cool and everything, but slow your roll. You just met that Uber driver. Come on. Slow your roll.
It was a Monday night, a slower night for an Uber driver, especially in our bum-ass town. So when a trip request popped up on my screen, I jumped on it. I was picking up a guy named John.
All right.
I drove across the neighborhood to a corner liquor store that was closed at this hour. There were two young guys waiting on the corner, and when I pulled up to the curb, they got in the car. I confirmed John's name to make sure he was who I was picking up.
Well, confirm that shit out before you pick him up, before he enters your car. And because you didn't, that lets me know that you are definitely about that bullshit life. You are definitely about that fucky life. You know, man, damn. You would think people have common sense, but you know. Some people don't. I feel like common sense is either you're born with it or you don't have it.
Then I started heading to their destination. The two whispered to each other, and it was a little odd. I looked at the rearview mirror every once in a while, and every time I did, they would both notice and look back at me.
Oh, no.
I kept trying not to look, but I found myself accidentally doing it over and over. I asked them where they were headed. Neither of them answered. I figured they didn't hear me because the back window was open and there was wind noise. So I asked...
Okay, well, speak the fuck up. Hey! Where you going? Motherfucker.
Again. This time one of them yelled Harris Avenue.
What?
It didn't answer the main point of my question, which was to be polite and make small talk. But it did let me know these two were not exactly people I wanted in my car.
Oh.
I felt my big toe press a bit harder on the gas instinctively, just knowing I wanted to get there sooner. We got to the street, but the apparent address they wanted me to pull up to was some rundown storefront with a group of guys in front.
You got it. Nope.
I slowed down and asked if this was it. I turned around to face them and saw they were both wearing masks now, similar to the masks from the movie The Purge.
Oh my God!
I felt something press up against the back of my shoulder.
Shit.
I assumed it was a gun.
Oh my God.
They told me pull up to where the guys were outside. I did so, and 3 big guys also wearing masks came up to my window, demanding my wallet. I gave it to them without hesitation, and the 2 guys in the back seat got out. The 5 masked men all together walked away from my car, one of them kicking at my door while passing. I drove away and reported it to Uber, who said they'd get in contact with the authorities.
Really?
It turned out the info used on that John person's account was all fake, and he was using a stolen credit card. I lost $250, my IDs, and countless cards in my wallet, but I'm just happy I escaped with my life.
Damn, it's 4 stories? I did not know that. I thought it was only 3. Hey.
After leaving a friend's Super Bowl party, I called an Uber to drive me home. When I got in the Uber, there was a guy in a baseball hat sitting in the back seat. I didn't say anything to acknowledge it. I just said hi to the driver.
What?
I figured I must have called an Uber pool instead of just a regular Uber.
What the fuck?
I didn't care though.
I do.
He got to my house, I got out of the car and shut the door.
Oh my son. I gotta stop being so involved with these stories. I gotta stop being one with these stories. Because how the fuck a car door scare me? Somebody let me know down in the comment section. Like, how the fuck, what? I mean, I know I'm a bitch at the heart, but how the hell did a car door scare me? I know y'all saw me jump. Jeez.
The second door shut on the other side, though. When the car drove away, I saw the guy who had been sitting next to me in the baseball hat, standing in the street, facing in my direction, but his head down so that his hat was covering his face. I said, "What's up? What's going on?" He started to walk away. Still, I knew something was going on.
Oh, yeah?
So instead of walking to my house, I started walking around the block. I saw the man on the opposite sidewalk across the street walking in my same direction. When there was an intersection in the street, I turned. When I saw he did the same thing, I ran. When I saw he started to run too, the adrenaline kicked in, and I sprinted faster than I'd ever ran in my life. I ran faster than him, and when I made it to my house, I ran to the backyard before he could possibly see where I went. Then I went into the house. I called the Uber driver at once, and he told me the guy next to me said he knew the next guy the Uber driver would be picking up, which ended up being me. The driver had his info, so he said he would report the guy. I don't know what happened because I never called or texted the Uber driver again. I also don't know why exactly that guy would be targeting people getting out of Ubers, but it definitely taught me to be more cautious with Uber rides.
No shit. Fuck you. I just want to say that. You know? Yeah, like I said, I'm not a big fan, not a fan at all with Ubers, you know, and or Lyfts. Like, you know, like I said before in the beginning of the video, if I had to choose between a taxi, Uber, and Lyft to take, I would definitely pick taxi because at least they have a boss. Right? See, with Uber and Lyft, you don't have a boss. Like, you are your own boss. You make your own hours and shit like that. Like, you do you. You know, you make your own money. And because, you know, you don't have a boss, it's fucking free game. Which means, that's it. You know, like, if the Uber driver decided they wanted to fuck you up, they can do that. Alright? Or if it was backward, you know, like reverse, you know, all I'm saying is like, you don't really, you're not that safe. I mean, granted, you're not safe in a taxi, Lyft, or Uber, but I think the chances of you getting more, like, less fucked up would be in a taxi versus a Lyft or Uber. I just never been a fan of that. You know, you're getting into somebody else's car. You're getting in a car that you probably never been in before. Also with a stranger. Like, get the fuck out of here. I don't know who the hell thought about that. No, you got it. But I on a side note, you know, I know this is random, but I don't know if y'all noticed, but like Mr. Nightmare put not recently, I guess, kind of, whatever. He puts like a disclaimer in the very beginning of his video that's for like a second or two. You know, apparently people are taking his taking his videos, right, without his permission. Now, granted, I've been doing that for years now, and I've never gotten a copyright strike or third-party content or like third-party issue or any copyright issues or anything like that, right? Like, Mr. Nightmare has never gave me anything, right? So, but I don't know. I mean, I messaged Mr. Nightmare about a week ago. I haven't heard anything. So, I mean, I guess I'm good, you know, as far as like reacting to his videos, but I haven't, like, I've reacted to a lot of Mr. Nightmare videos, and I have never, not once, gotten a strike or a copyright issue or anything like that from him because I reacted to his videos. So I think I'm still good, but I did message him recently. I just haven't heard anything back. I just want to make sure that it was cool with me reacting to his videos because I don't want him, you know, randomly giving me a strike or a, you know, copyright issue or anything like that. Granted, I have never had one from him, but just saying, shit happens. But yeah, I mean, if you had to choose, right, to take a taxi, Lyft, or Uber driver, let me know which one you want to choose. Keep it cool, keep it classy, and I love you. Stay happy. My family.